Hello everyone, thank you for joining me for another episode of Antonio's Movie Reviews. Today we have the 1992 movie Single White Female. This movie stars Bridget Fonda, Jason Leigh, and Steven Weber. This movie can be summed up simply by saying that a girl gets a roommate who likes her so much that she wants to be her, but the directors made it a very well written movie in my opinion. Jason Leigh descends into this manic crescendo, so to speak, and it's amazing to watch. She played this role really well. I'd have liked to see her in Mad Love, to be honest, as Drew Barrymore's character. Not to displace her, but I bet she'd have done well. Bridget Fonda plays Allison Jones, a young entrepreneur who seems to have everything one could ask for: love, beauty, corporate success. The movie is categorized as an erotic thriller, and it was directed by Barbet Schroeder. Early in the film, she leaves Steven Weber, who plays her boyfriend Sam. She decides, when talking it over with her neighbor, that she needs to find a roommate.
No messages.
I'll just get a roommate.
You could always.
Allie is pretty well versed in that Apple Mac II that she's using to type up this ad. Howard Shore composed the score for this film as well as Crash, which you may remember from my last review. Allie places an ad in which the title of the movie is explained. She ends up interviewing a number of people before we meet Hetty, played by Jason Leigh. Things of course begin how most movies like this begin, with the two starting off as really close friends. Things quickly begin to spiral out of control though, which you'll see soon.
Oh, Allie.
Oh, I'm Hedra Carlson. We spoke on the phone this
Tomorrow.
Why don't you just sit down?
No, I'm fine.
Let me make you some tea.
Hedra. That's unusual.
I got terrible. I was just cleaning up. He's the reason why I'm looking for a new roommate.
Oh.
The format of this movie reminds me a lot of the movie The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, which also came out in 1992. Hetty, as Peyton was in that movie, seems like a very stable person in the beginning. Apparently Sam keeps calling.
Where'd you guys learn to dress like that? I mean...
Let me take those for you.
Hey, what do you think?
I think that you should get them.
Well, I'll just borrow them when I want to.
Jason Leigh's performance in this film is one that simply cannot be overlooked in my opinion. She adds the perfect amount of creepiness to the movie just by being herself and displaying serious psychological issues early on in the movie.
Well, I was supposed to be a twin, but she was still... Allie. God.
In a way, you can almost feel sorry for Hetty. I mean, apparently she's lost her sister and she's desperately seeking companionship, and that would make you see why she wants a friend.
Allie, pick up. Allie, listen, please come.
Buddy.
There is a slow buildup of bizarre things that Hetty does that make you wonder what her motive must be in this. It seems as if her aim is to psychologically break Allie down while ultimately adopting her mannerisms. Barbet Schroeder does a wonderful job at building up suspense in this movie through gradually showing Hetty's obsession progress. Allie was quite naive in my opinion.
Hey, your roommate. You were leaving the building, at least I thought it was you. Your backpack, this jacket.
And you down to meet her, but she's shy.
Well, no.
Don't tell me we have the same belt.
What? Oh, yeah, sorry.
Obviously, it was in Hetty's best interest for her and Sam not to get back together, because that's the reason that Allie went looking for a roommate to begin with. So if Sam's back in the picture, she's gonna be out. And this is the beginning of Hetty's downward spiral.
Call me at work. Okay? My number's on the fridge. Okay, bye.
Hey, it's not for you.
Although the movie isn't really categorized as a horror film, it sure enough has plenty of unsettling moments brought to you by Howard Shore, who composed the score for the movie.
God. Hetty, what are you doing? So, I guess you patched things up with Sam, huh?
Wait a minute. You'll find someone, Eddie. I mean, God, if I can.
You're in a different league. I know that.
The two lead actresses had great chemistry together in my opinion, and it added a lot of realism to the movie, which for me compensated for its lack of plot. I don't really get the impression that Hetty set out to become Allie per se. She just acted impulsively in regard to whatever event would occur that triggered her psycho tendencies. I mean, that's just my opinion. There's also a lot of nudity and eroticism in the movie that I feel like really wasn't necessary, as the movie was suspenseful enough just being a thriller without that aspect added in. I do feel like those scenes added a lot to the jealousy of Hetty though. It showed where she was going.
Buddy, come. Come.
Oh my God, what happened? You left the window open! How could you do that?
And I believe that showed the extremes to which Hetty would go to in order to gain the attention and affection of Allie. That was just highly unnecessary and brutal.
Listen, if she blames anybody, she blames me, okay?
Hetty goes as far as to even try taking over Allie's love life. Aside from being a decent movie, I think this movie really impacted pop culture in a tremendous way. I mean, surely no one gets excited at the idea of having a roommate from movies like this coming out in 1992. Between this, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, Never Talk to Strangers, Original Sin, I feel like the 90s must have been a very scary time. People at least valued their privacy a lot more than they do today, with social media and everything just right out there on display for everyone.
Don't. That's enough. Mitch.
Good luck.
Only if you let him. You won't let him, will you?
What do it?
Hello. May I speak with your husband, please?
Who are you calling?
You listen to me this time, asshole. If you trash me around town, you're fucked.
Ta-da!
Really have to talk.
Allie, please. I have a surprise for you.
Hetty.
And I definitely love this scene that's coming up right now. It has to be one of, if not the most memorable scenes from the entire movie. I mean, what was she thinking?
You've got to be kidding.
If there's one thing you can say about this movie, it's that it was highly original for its time, and the concept has been copied numerous times, for instance with the movie The Roommate. I really like that movie actually. I think that they paid great homage. By this point it looks like Allie is trying to find some things out about Hetty's past.
Ellen Bash.
Something I didn't like much about the film was that I thought Hetty had an incredibly weak backstory, and Allie really didn't make herself extremely likable either by taking Sam back and, in my opinion, leading on her boss. Nonetheless though, this was a pretty suspenseful part in the movie. I really enjoyed this part. Lots of action by this point.
Okay, I love myself like this. Have fun! Yeah.
Allie's neighbor Graham, played by Peter Friedman, should have had a much bigger role too. I honestly liked his scenes a lot. The film's climax is pretty much going from 0 to 100 at this point, with Hetty out actually pretending to be Allie at a club. I think Bridget Fonda does a great job in this as well, given what she had to work with as a character. She displayed the fearful and shocked emotions really well in my opinion. I like, on the other hand, how much building goes on in this movie. It's like Schroeder doesn't skimp on the things that Hetty does. By the end of the movie, you can probably write down an entire list of the crazy things that she's done. A thriller needs thrills.
Hey, Ali, regular or diet?
Diet!
Something's different.
Yes.
What is it?
You've got to help me, Graham. You've got to tell me what to do.
Nothing she told me is true. Like her twin, who she said died.
Get rid of her. Call the police if you have. She's lying.
Hey, Graham's finally home. It was good to see Peter Friedman for a while before the movie finally decided to give us a dose of violence, which was surprising, I'm sure, in 1992, but would have more so been predictable today and probably average.
Hetty?
Ken? Right, okay?
What?
It's okay. Take it easy. Take it easy. We just want to get you some help.
Now, with the way that the apartment vents carry sound throughout the building. You'd think that Allie might have heard that, but apparently not, as she was on a phone call with Hetty's parents.
Mine always comes when I'm wearing something nice. So you can make sure you could trust him again.
Well, frankly, Hetty, that's my...
Al.
Sam?
Ellen, is that you? Talk to me, or your mother. Honey.
Find someone else, jerk.
I'm expecting a call.
I don't feel like the movie felt rushed either by this point, because it just feels like a totally new chapter of a very hostile situation instead of just an obsessive roommate. Aside from the beauty salon scene, the scene with Hetty and Sam is also very memorable, as it was highly sexual followed by highly violent. And by violent, I mean in a way that you would never have expected.
Allie?
No, not Allie.
Well, you're too needy, you're always clingy, you're constantly in her face. But...
Good night, Miss Jones.
Good night.
Now this is sort of what I mean by Hetty's weak backstory, as in, I didn't really see the point of her obsession. Like, she just killed Allie's boyfriend and her best friend. At first it was like Hetty wanted Allie to be her new twin sister, which some people might have even empathized with. But now I'm just left like, now what?
On the body of a man brutally murdered early on of a struggle emanating from room 612 around 4 o'clock this morning.
I'm sorry. There's been an accident. I think you should speak to the police.
And this is where quality acting comes into play to make up for the lapses in the plot. I love how Hetty doesn't want any fingerprints on anything and Allie just doesn't even acknowledge it. And of course the irony of her borrowing Allie's shoes from the beginning, that she said that she would just borrow when she wanted to. I guess that was the day to wear them.
Oh, well, I'm just gonna go upstairs and see Graham. Hetty, did you... You couldn't have...
He came in my mouth, and they tried to beat the shit out of me because I wanted to tell you.
Graham?
He can't hear you. Don't laugh. Ta-da!
Jennifer Jason Leigh really shined in this movie when you think about where it could have been without her. I mean, she drove the entire movie in the sense that I can't think who could have better played Hetty. I mean, sure, there are movies like this that have been done before with the entire stranger turned psycho idea, like Fatal Attraction, or even the movie Disclosure with the sexually harassing boss being Demi Moore. But Single White Female is definitely a classic, and I'll go as far as to say that it was well made in my opinion. Barbet Schroeder did a great job at casting and also just adding a lot of twists in the movie that, really, for lack of a better word, did a great job. Here's one now.
It's erasing.
Under the contract between Fontana Fashions and Allison Jones has passed due. Please contact Allison.
Uh-huh. Great.
You can make reservations on this?
Mm-hmm.
Steven Tobolowsky, who plays her boss Mitch Meyerson, is actually about to be a hero in this regard when he shows up at the apartment to talk to Allison.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm looking for a woman, Allison Jones. Do you know her?
Mitch's heroism doesn't make it too far, as once again we are amazed to still see this movie building upon its thrills. We see Hetty display yet another side of her character, apparently now wanting Allie to take herself out. I have to say, I love the thrillers that they made in the 1990s. There's just so much more substance than there is today. All in all, I can honestly say I liked this film. The two lead actresses were great considering what they had to work with, and they really sold their emotions in my opinion. The end of the movie was very tense and caused me to wince in seeing Hetty's last moments. I definitely recommend you see this one if you have a taste for early 90s psychological thriller movies. And thank you everyone for watching my movie review on Single White Female, a 1992 movie starring Jennifer Jason Leigh and Bridget Fonda. Please don't forget to like and subscribe so you can tune in for my next video.